In the spirit of not quitting, I am going to once again try to walk you all through how to install the Power Hobby motors. So I'm going to recap this once again. I bought these off of eBay. They're 19 kV and they are noticeably faster than the stock motor. So I'm going to show you how to do an install, which color to use, because there are initially you get four. There's a blue and red, and there's a white and black. The white and blacks are counterclockwise. The blue and reds are clockwise. So you want to use the blue and red, plus that's the one that comes stock. So here's the one stock motor, blue and red, so I would stick with those. So that you get an understanding of how fast or how much faster you can tell. I'm going to use my Hellcat SRT, and I'm going to let you listen to the difference in sounds. So here's the Hellcat SRT with the stock motor. 100%. Here is my Havoline Mustang with the Power Hobby motor. So if you can't tell from the sound, and this motor is noticeably faster. I bring that up for this reason. The sacrifice for having a faster motor is decreased runtime. So with that being said, understand what you're getting into when you start upgrading motors. As far as the pinions and that good stuff goes, I have more upgrades I want to try in the future, and we'll see if those make the cut. So for now, I'm just putting away the Havoline Mustang, and I'm going to jump into working on the Hellcat SRT. So let's start with turning the car off. All right. And I'm going to turn the remote off. Just so you all can see, I did have it at 100%. So that's not a lie. And get my trusty screwdriver, my trusty bit, and let's get going. This is a relatively easy install. I don't want you all to think this is something overly complicated. It's not. I filmed about an hour's worth of footage, but I made so many rookie mistakes. I could not feasibly upload a 20-minute video to essentially do a 5-minute job. Even with talking, I couldn't justify it. So therefore, I did not list the video on the Facebook group or on YouTube. So I figured, let me take a day or two to get my life together and then try this again. So this is again, relatively straightforward install. Now, here's a tip. For this one that's right here, butted up against the bulkhead for the steering. If you loosen that up a little bit, that raises it. And now you can more freely, hold on, I gotta take it up a little bit more. There we go. You can kind of lift the board some, enough to make that clearance and get that out of there. So it's just a small trick. And of course you want to disconnect your battery, disconnect your motor, disconnect your steering servo, because you're going to have to take the board off anyway. So this kind of plays a part in that. Oop. Come on now. There we go. All right. So you just finish removing those screws. And like anything else, you want to try to keep your screws all in one place so that you know where they are. So these I have right here. All right. Keep all your parts and all your screws and everything together so you don't lose nothing. All right. And here we go. All right. Now, to get to the motor, this is pretty straightforward. And what I would do, just do yourself a favor, if you can, and maybe take your battery out. On this Hellcat, I tightened it down. I've done this so much now, it's a little janky, but you're gonna have to remove this plate. So you're blessed in the sense you don't got to take the tires and all that stuff off. But on the trade-off is you got to take this plate off, and that's where I ran into my problems. So just to help you all avoid some pitfalls, be careful when you're taking this plate off, but you will have to remove the plate. Oh, even with all this talking, right now we're at the 6-minute mark, and you know, we are moving along actually pretty good. So now that we're here, just want to pop that up. And so here's the second pitfall, okay? The springs for the top of this, all right? So the springs are small watch springs, and you have to be careful, because like this one popped off right here, and you want to be careful that you don't lose these. So I got my spring here. I'm going to set that there. And I'm going to take this one. There we go. Get that back in place. Here's your motor. Your motor goes right here. All right. Just pop that motor up. So to get the pinion off, you can use a small flathead screwdriver or like a small, like this. And it just pries up. This is just a small, for painting or for cooking. Please don't use kitchen utensils. But this small spatula, like, you know, this small scraper, this does a good job. Just something that can push this off, because this really is just like pressed on. It's not that big of a deal. So here's your stock motor. Your stock motor is now off. Go to our pack of Power Hobby motors. Get the right one. Your red. So what I did also to help out, let me see where I put that. All right, I don't see what I did with it. No matter. So this wire is noticeably longer, and I'll show you a secret how you can kind of compress it a little bit later. But for right now, you want to try to take this motor. I ain't gonna try it. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna take this motor. You're going to take the pinion backwards like it was on the other one. You want to press it down, but you want to leave some space. So one of the pitfalls I ran into was I pressed this down as far as I could, because the shaft on this motor and the shaft on this motor are two different sizes. This one's a little bit longer. This one is a little bit shorter. So what you want to make sure is that when you push that on here, you give it enough space to fit in this channel. If it fits in the channel, because the motor is 6x15, it's going to go right into place. This is pretty standard size motor. But what you want to make sure is that once you got that motor in the channel, that it spins freely. And if you can see it from here, the motor is spinning freely. It's not obstructed. I had it too tight, so the car was bound up. It wouldn't move at first. So I had to take that off and loosen it up and, start again with that. So be careful of that pitfall. All right. That being said, now comes the part where you're going to have to, your delicate part. So here's what I have figured out, I'm going to take that dog bone off right there. What I have figured out is if you can turn the car sideways, give the dog bone, it kind of gets it airborne some. Put a finger over this spring so it doesn't come off while you pair these up. Once you got that in place, I messed myself up on that one. But once you got those in place, it kind of helps with, it just helps getting it in place. So this is where I ran into one of my pitfalls was reassembly. So there we go. And as you can see, spring is there, dog bone is in place. Now, when I'm going, and then as soon as I did that, I had the nerve to go tap something and mess it all up. So another thing, you can preset it in here. hold it like this. Get your pinion and everything in place. There we go. Hold it steady and then get it all in there at one time. And that's another way you can do it too. So you can either put the dog bone shaft on the inside or the outside. It doesn't matter. So make sure you keep it airborne though. I'm going to do it the same way just to keep it airborne. Dog bone on the inside. I'm going to apply some pressure. And y'all literally watched me do this. Okay. So see how easy it is to mess yourself up? I'm going to use myself as the example of what not to do. So there we go. Let me do that again. So now you're going to get to see it 3 times. And I'm not editing this video because I want you all to see how easy it is to mess this up. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect at all. Matter of fact, I just dropped the dog bone. So there we go. So I am not perfect at this, nor am I trying to pretend that I am perfect. All right. Not going to edit this video, edit out the parts I don't like. No, I think you all should see the whole process. That I struggle with this just like you do. So it's not easy, especially for guys that have big hands. Oh, you're going to hate this. Okay, there we go. All right, everything's in place. All right. Whew, now that was a interesting time. All right, motor's in place. Motor is in place, pin's in place, everything's in place, servo is in place. So now get it through. You want to make up. All right. Well, there's that. I'm going to pause the video